Hey traders, Nick Shaheen here looking at Google. They just reported earnings and Wall Street did not like what they saw. This is the drop. 7.5%. It closed off the lows. I think the lows was 8.5 or 9%, whatever it was. Regardless, big drop, and it's a giant stock. So what to do now? This is a shorter term chart, 240 minutes, so every candle is that much. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can get a little more clarity. Right here it looks like it's the end of the world, but we need to get a little more clarity, so we zoom out. Okay, so I'm starting to see levels. First of all, this is a stock that behaves well with regards to the patterns. What do I mean? If you see these lines, it prices them out properly. So whenever there is a potential breakout and it takes it, it usually goes the distance. So the last one was this one, and it over-delivered. So seeing it fall down a little bit doesn't surprise me. So every breakout, usually the stock challenges, and let me start marking this up so I can speak to it. And use an example. So let's use this example right here. Okay, forget what happened here. This example right here. That was at 1160. Alright, so I'm going to put a dot right here. So 1160, the rally happened. That was a breakout from here, got to here, and then collapsed. And oh, look at that. It was the last earnings. Collapsed, quotes. And it fell back down to about the area where it broke out from, right? And then it came back to it. And here comes the challenge number 2. Boom, boom. Challenge 1, challenge 2. The next time they challenged it, they beat it. And once they broke that descending lower high trend, the upside potential was somewhere around here, my estimation. I draw these beforehand, and it priced it out almost perfectly in a zigzag fashion, and then exceeded a little bit. So I heard stuff on CNBC yesterday that just drove me crazy, or when they delivered the reports, the expert, I forget who it was, they actually said, so does it bother you that Google is not participating, or Alphabet is not participating in this rally? It's like, what the heck are you talking about? It just set an all-time high the day you said that. Just because after market it fell doesn't mean it's not participating. It participated, it got there, set the all-time high, and now it's tracing back a little bit. This was the all-time high before. So just junk comments. So trade it one level at a time. So this was the potential resistance. They broke through it, and they got to a measured move, and then some. All right, so what now? Now it's giving back some, but it's going back to about the neckline zone where we broke out from. And look, it's not coincidence that this is actually support now. You know, resistance, and then they broke up above it, then it becomes support. So they use it to base. Now they're falling. Job number 1 for the bulls is to hold this support zone. Remember, I put a dot here. All right, same thing happened here. We broke out of here. They come back and test it. In theory, if the markets are moving higher, it should be support. So I can draw a line for higher lows. You know, this is not surgical draw, but the spirit is there. The market is trending higher since last December. So a whole bunch of lines that all say one thing. If I own the shares and I see this drop a little bit here, I'm not panicking out of them. The reason they're falling is fundamental. They missed on sales. And they delivered the bottom line, but they missed on sales, and that's concerning. But I kind of saw this coming, because if Facebook sales, ad sales are doing great, and Amazon ad sales are doing great, who are they taking it from? Google. But Google has a big enough P&L that they probably can manage it. And they're doing so many other things in the quote other category that it's not a panic out of Google like it's going to zero. This is still a cash cow. It's the dominant search, especially in mobile search. I think it has like 90% of it. So that is a lot of leverage. Not to mention YouTube. Billions of users every day, hours at a time, including my son. So it has people's attention. All they have to do is tweak this, tweak that, and boom, they've got billions coming. So I'm not panicking out of it. So the second question is this a good time to catch a falling knife? Well, it all depends on time frame. Today it fell $100. Today is what, 4:30. April 30th. It fell about $100. So usually candles this big are not one-day events. That's a lot of volume. Okay, so I have to respect it. I have to expect some more downside. But if I sell a put somewhere down here, I'm comfortable because I know that this zone right here, like we just discussed, should be support. So even if we get another down day, it should be support. So I had a few people ask me, is this a good time to sell a credit put spread? Maybe it is. It all depends on the time frame. If I'm selling it out in time, yes. But a couple of things worry me a little bit. Is number one, the market is at all-time high. Number two, we have the Fed in two days, tomorrow actually, the Fed, and then Friday we have a jobs report. So, and then we have China headlines. So we have more earnings to come. So we have a whole bunch. So where's the rush? It is this close to all-time highs. I don't see the rush to catch the falling knife. I like the company. I'm a user of all of its products. I'm not an Apple guy. On the PC and on the phone, so I'm on board with the bullish thesis for Google, but I'm not rushing to sell puts in it or the put spreads. It would have been good to do it at the open when the hate was the most and the implied volatility on the put side was like on fire. Then it would have been a quick scalp. But from here to set a fundamental long trade, maybe I will, maybe I won't. So I'm not rushing to do it. But if I'm long it, I'm not panicking out of it. So if I want to protect myself for a little bit of time, I can use the puts, and I can buy puts or do a collar of some sorts. So I can buy a put where I'm not willing to go below. Like if I'm okay losing money up until 1140, then I'll buy a put at 1140 for the next 2 weeks. They might not be cheap, but what I can do is I can sell a call to finance my put. A covered call, not naked call, never, never, never. So if I own shares, I'll sell a covered call. With the money, I'll buy a put. So I'm collared into protection without any money out of pockets. That's one way of doing it. As far as going long new, I'm not rushing into it, and I just told you why. All right, let me see if there's any clues to be had from the weekly chart. So this is a 5-year weekly chart. It just shows that every breakout revisits. So look at this breakout right here. Turning into a technical lesson here. All right, so resistance, boom, 1 time, 2 times, resistance, breakout. They break through it and they come back and revisit. It's like, okay, I just want to make sure that I've got a good support system here. Boom, look at that. Support, support, support. It holds. And then it uses it. Now they're sure that the support is going to hold. Big test. Big rally. They come back and test it. It's no coincidence that this is about where they hold. Okay, so now we have the similar situation at these levels right here. Same as this level right here. So now we were trading inside this zone. We got up above it. And now onus is on the bulls to prove that they can stay above it, to use it as a platform for another leg higher like this one. So it's not a given yet. So we could fall to here and it still doesn't change the story in my opinion. This is another like mini level I'm eyeballing here. So you see how it works? Here's another one. Resistance, resistance. They broke out and then came back and tested it for footing and then said, see ya. They didn't even need to test it anymore. Same here. They broke out, tested it, see ya. That's how breakouts happen. Resistance, then breakout. Support, tested, they continue on higher. Alright, so don't panic out of it. Not yet. The markets in general could fall and Google will fall, but on its own, there's a lot of doubt in it, but I think too much doubt came in too fast. That's my personal opinion. Nick signing out.